Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about another controversial topic because that is what we do here. I saw this on Twitter and I even retweeted it, and I was debating whether filming it, and I'm filming it. So it's an article from the magazine Marie Claire, and it's titled, "I cheated on my boyfriend with my rapist." Okay. By seducing my assaulter, I was reclaiming the control I'd lost over my body and identity. Okay, so first of all, let me just quickly disclaim, since the fucking world we live in, rape is a serious topic and I don't take it lightly. However, I also want to highlight the fact that there are people who do lie about being raped, okay? So, I'm not saying she's necessarily lying. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying we have to be skeptical about rape accusations. As much as I don't want anyone to be raped and I want to believe everyone, there are plenty of people in the past who have made up some bullshit. So, this article, I can't read all of it because it's honestly really long. However, essentially, let me just tell you what happened and then I'll take out some quotes to give you a better idea, and then we can kind of discuss why are we here, really. Okay, so the story starts with this girl who goes to a party, gets drunk, ends up on an air mattress on a dorm room floor. So she's on the air mattress on the dorm room floor, and then she feels someone thrusting roughly into her from behind. And she turns around and realizes that it is the brother of a close friend of hers. So then, this is a part where it gets a little bit more complicated, where she says, "How did I get here? Did I say yes to this?" And I know that the rule is if you're drunk, you can't say yes, you can't consent, but what if she did say yes and actually wanted to, aside from being drunk? It gets very blurry. But anyways, she asks, "How did I get here? Did I say yes to this?" Okay? So she tries to piece the night back together. She's trying to really figure out what happened, of course, as anyone would try to remember, although she had had plenty and plenty to drink, so obviously it was kind of unrealistic for her to actually recall everything as it was. She then tells her roommate, who is completely jaded about it, and quote says, "So you had your first one-night stand. Don't you feel cooler?" So in a sense, she kind of forced herself to believe that it wasn't rape, although she does now call it rape, because in the title she said that she has sex with her rapist, but I guess at the time, maybe as a coping mechanism, she was choosing to see it as, something that's normal, something casual, whatever it is that could get her through the day, which is completely understandable, right? Because in the end, you want to avoid that mental scar, that physical scar. You want to pretend that never happened, right? So she pretty much then went on with her life without really telling anyone, without telling her therapist, because she didn't want this new idea that she had in her head to be questioned. The idea that, it was just a one-night stand and there was nothing more to it. And she just, pushed it aside, and she even mentioned, "I retained so few memories that it was surprisingly easy to let the whole incident recede from my mind." So she then says that she started dating someone, she graduated, she got a job, moving on, right? So then her college friends planned to reunite and go out dancing together. So what this woman forgot or just didn't think of is that her rapist would be there, the brother of her close friend, right? And she says that her denial was so strong and so effective that I could sit a few feet away from him like it was no big deal, chatting, laughing, chatting, eating lasagna. So then after dinner it became clear that the brother was gonna go drinking with them. And something shifted inside her. She said, she called it autopilot, and she starts flirting with him. And when they go out dancing, she tried to really get close to him too. So then, quote, "Oddly, being back in bed with him didn't scare me. We rolled around and made out in the bottom half of a bunk bed. It was all very PG-13, the way I may have behaved with a high school crush. He didn't push me for more, and I didn't offer. I woke to find 3 friends rousing on his grungy couch and shooting me confused looks. They were all friendly with my pretty serious boyfriend. I knew I should be ashamed and frankly worried that my boyfriend, who I'd been with for a year and would go on to date for another 3, would find out. But I was neither. Instead, I felt like I'd scratched a hard-to-reach itch. Cheating wasn't something I took lightly, but whatever deep-seated need I'd satisfied that night was more important than fidelity. An obscure yet palpable sense of relief drove away any hint of guilt before it could take hold. Counterintuitive as it may seem, my impulse to initiate a second encounter with my attacker was more than a year after the original incident makes sense to experts on sexual assault. And the article goes on to kind of analyze why wouldn't you want to try to regain this power that was taken from you, which I think is interesting, and I'll link it below, but I'm not going to go into that. So then, towards the end of the article, it says that at age 29, she finally realized that what happened to her in the first place was rape, and it's not that she didn't realize it before, but I think that she accepted it, and even her therapist and her fiance were very fast to be like, that was rape. And one of the interesting things, too, was that by seducing my rapist, I extended the shelf life of my denial. Whenever my mind flashed back to that terrifying night in the dorm, the bitter recollection was diffused by a newer, more palatable memory. My brain used a vivid evening of dancing and flirting to overwrite one of the darkest experiences in my life and to replace one damaging label, rape victim, with another less distressing one, cheater. Of two grim options, the latter was more acceptable for a while at least. Okay, so now that we know all this, I don't even know what to say. Because, I mean, I can completely understand the idea of kind of taking control of the narrative that is in your head and kind of trying to rewrite a part of your life's history to make it more, to make it easier for you to accept or, I guess, deny. I don't know. I can understand that, you know, to kind of try and take control. But at the same time, I'm thinking, damn, you know, this guy raped you, and it's hard for me to imagine that someone wouldn't have an extreme repulsion to that person, or I just don't know how far into denial you can be to not feel extreme repulsion and to even not be scared to have an encounter again with this person, considering that the first time the encounter occurred, the rape occurred, they did not give two fucks about, you know, putting themselves inside you without consent. So that's one of the things I'm wondering here. I almost wonder also why there was no mention in this article of like not reporting it, because I know that she was in denial, but of not even, I don't know, this article has me stumped because I completely understand it, but on the other side, it's very hard to imagine that you would want to be next to that person again, or even like try and flirt with them, even if it's to try and take the power back. What do you guys think? When I read this article, I honestly was kind of shook, to be honest, because I've never read anything like this before. And I've had an experience of sexual assault that left me with PTSD. And, you know, the idea of like, no. And I know that everyone has their different experiences, and if anyone wants to share their experiences or even just share their opinions on what they think is going on here, please do. But I found this deeply interesting because it is so completely opposite to how I think a story like this would go down, you know? So anyways, let me know what you think. I'm sorry this was a dark topic, but I've never seen anything like this, so I thought we could talk about it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get into the fan art.